Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. Hit the subscribe button. It is right down here. If you want to listen to something different other than generic metal music, welcome to Q1 to 4 dudes talking about wrestling, the same topics, the same companies over and over. If you want to listen to something different, hit the subscribe button.
Hey, this is Adam, a.k.a. Edge, a.k.a. the Rated R Superstar, a.k.a. Dwight from Haven, a.k.a. What was my name in Bending the Rules? I can't remember, but you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection.
This is Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and you're listening to the Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know or hope to know about pro wrestling. It's just too sweet.
Welcome to the Mankind Cave. Welcome to another episode of Kayfabe Connection, your home for facts, rumors, knowledge, trivia, and everything you know and hope to know about pro wrestling. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. An incredible humanitarian, incredible person for the culture, and I mean, personified every historical black figure that he portrayed in every film. Jackie Robinson, James Brown, you name it, he made it come alive on the screen in his most notable role, Black Panther. Just an incredible, iconic role in cinema history. We're going to talk wrestling, but it's more than just wrestling here. If there's something notable to discuss, I'll throw it out there, and this is one of them. Died way too young, age 44, or 43 actually, which is my wife's age, which tripped me out because I was shook last night. If you watched the previous episode of Thanks for Watching, I talked about AEW Dynamite, and on there I discussed going to see Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was awesome and nostalgic and great. But halfway through the movie, my phone was blowing up, and I saw the news, and it was the same thing like when Kobe died. You just, that denial hits you, and you go, no, there's no way. And what? He was sick. I just wanted to share briefly, and then we'll get into wrestling and fun stuff. But I remember going to the advanced screening with some of my closest brothers, and I call my friends brothers. You know, I'm not, I've been told I'm all or nothing. I'm either my brother or you're an acquaintance. I don't know about friends, but so yeah, I went. It was the four of us, and we went downtown to the advanced screening for Black Panther, and there'll never be another cinematic experience like that ever again. And you know, I was telling some of my friends last night, you know, we were just contemplating about everything with the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And we talked about it, and I was like, you know, in that short 5-hour period, it was just magical. Everybody was just vibing, and the energy, like your cheeks were buzzing, like the energy just felt, it just felt like something historically entirely different than we've ever experienced, and rightfully so. I have, again, people who I consider brothers who, again, one of them sitting right next to me, credits roll, he's crying, he turns and looks at me, and he's like, my two sons now have a hero that looks like him. It's just huge, man. So all the work that he did as a humanitarian, working with kids who, you know, had cancer at a young age and who were sick, and he himself just working his ass off in the latter parts of his career. Again, nobody really knew he had cancer except the closest people to him. He fought through it, and you would have never known. I say that to say this. Some people are either stifled by fear and they let fear control their life, and trust me, I've been there, or they go about it the other way they're motivated by fear. Life is very short, but it is a great blessing. Take advantage of all this free time you have. You know, we act tongue in cheek about wrestling and we ridicule WWE and it's low hanging fruit sometimes, but it's not on a constant bashing basis. And I think that's the thing too. Watching wrestling, don't be a creep, don't be a racist, don't be an asshole to people. Be kind to people, man. Uplift people, motivate people, inspire people. And if you're not feeling any of those things, seek others who will do the same for you in a positive way. And I know this is getting very after school special for a wrestling podcast, but again, I always fancy myself as a human being. And anytime human being stuff happens, I have an opinion about it. And I have this little platform here to share. So rest in peace, thoughts, blessings, prayers, just everything to his family and the people that he influenced around him. This one hurts. But again, I wanted to take a moment and talk about it because just how significant that character and many of his characters that he portrayed, but especially the comic character co-written by Jack Kirby, who his birthday was on the date that Chadwick passed away. And of course, Stan Lee, who created that character, such an iconic character. It stings. So all my comic heads out there, all my human beings out there who are really hurting, I hear you. We're here for you. And we'll do our best to move on and move forward and enjoy some wrestling. So without further ado, again, welcome to Thanks for Watching. And today's episode is going to focus on New Japan Summer Struggle from Jenga. Not the Jenga board that you... no, a baseball stadium in Jingo. An outdoor event. And I love like outdoor baseball events for wrestling. I know Global Force had some stuff a while ago, which was like, it was super embarrassing. Not a good turnout. It was just kind of one of those things that crashed and burned. It's going to be the butt of wrestling jokes from here on out. But the open air stadium was sick. The venue was sick. There was pyro, there's smoke, there were fireworks at the end. There was all kinds of great stuff to be had in this venue. So it was a 2.5 hour show. And again, I'm a huge Puroresu dude. I'm not on some gatekeeper type stuff where, you know, I'm attacking anybody who dares say anything critical about New Japan. The colors are never rose in the glasses, always a dark tint in the sunglasses. But a fair criticism of New Japan has been their handling of certain divisions, especially the tag. Really can't do anything about the junior tag right now. I mean, Funky 2K, half of them are injured for a while, so they had to push Yo to single stature. There's really not much they could do with that. But I mean, when it comes to having the same teams over and over again with tag teams, but even beyond that, as far as tags go, just having a lot of seemingly filler tag matches so that everybody can quote unquote get their shit in. That has been, I think, a fair criticism for New Japan, personally. And it's something for me, honest to goodness, if there's a New Japan show, and especially if I'm not watching it live and I have the ability to just jump to the action, man, if it's like a 8-man, 10-man tag match, I'm out. I'm like, let's just fast forward until we get to a singles match or something that is not, you know, a multi-man tag match. It's just, I've immediately been wired to just see that and my brain shuts off and I just have no interest, because typically in those, you know, multi-man tag matches, I mean, nothing of note ever really comes from it. And, you know, each dude gets a couple of moves in, if they even get the tag, and then it's kind of over and nothing really comes out of it. So I think that has been a fair criticism to say about New Japan. Another criticism who, for me, I thought it was too easy for people to get on, like, oh, Evil's boring, Evil's one-dimensional. I'll talk about that when I talk about the main event match, which saw the double championship up for grabs between the challenger Tetsuya Naito, former IWGP double champ, heavyweight and IC, taking on the current reigning defending uh, double champion Evil. I'll talk about that when we get to the main event. But all in all, I thought the fact that you kind of cut the fat of a traditional New Japan show. No longer do you have multiple multi-man tag matches that are hogging up the card. And it was a shorter event, which typical events range anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. With this one, you got 2.5 hours. You were in, you were out. That was it. All good. I thought the pacing of the show was perfect. Typically Wrestle Kingdoms are one of those shows where the pacing is absolutely perfect. I enjoyed the pacing of this pay-per-view. This was the more well-paced New Japan show that I've seen in a long time, an absolutely long time. So, going over the card, there were quite a few championship matches of importance on the show. So we'll get right into it. Opening match saw Yoshinobu Kanemaru pinning Master Watu, one of my favorites. I think he's fun. Like he's, do you take him seriously? Do you not? Am I just being ironic that that's my boy, like the blue-haired Master Watu guy? No, I enjoy him. I think he's super charismatic and he just kind of fits into that New Japan mix. I mean, I think there's a thing with New Japan where, it's kind of one of those things now, like even Wrestling Observer is posting YouTube links like, is AEW being too comedic? And it's just like, here we fucking go. Like, you're not going to get black boots, black trunks, and, two dudes in a stiff match punching and slapping each other over and over and cussing. It's wrestling, it's theater, it's carny stuff, it's the carnival. The bearded lady, there's all kinds of different spectacles to see. It's not just two badass dudes that are tough and stiff matches, the same type of match being worked. So I get it, but no, I dig Master Watu, and it's one of those things like, he lost, but I'm still going to look for his matches. I'm still interested in him. I think his personality goes a long way. So I think I say that to say this. I think with New Japan, kind of going back to that comparison with like AEW being too comedic, I think the same thing is people think DDT, like when they think of silly, Japanese wrestling, they immediately go, oh, well, New Japan's not DDT, save it for the DDT shows. This isn't the same company. You got to have some flavors on your show. You can't, again, have everybody wears black trunks, everybody's a badass, everybody's either an LIJ, Chaos, or the Bullet Club, and there's no in-betweens. You got to have some flavors. So I dig Master Watu, man. Next, we saw the King of Pro Wrestling 4-way match. So there's been a tournament. Okada introduced it at a big press conference. All the Puro Resu gatekeepers just emerged from smoke with the staff, kind of like Evil carries, the Grim Reaper. They're just all there like, no, every Puro Resu match is going to be a 5-star banger. We're not going to have stipulations in New Japan. We're not going to have any hokiness happen. Oh, no, that's not what dude, you get the point, right? Like, it's these Bushi Road hype beast, Puro Resu gatekeeper types that want to contain New Japan in this little box and never let it expand out beyond it. Kudos to Geto and the powers that be in New Japan. One, they took a chance on Evil, which something that as a New Japan fan, a Japanese wrestling fan for several years, not since New Japan's been going like some people pretend, but at least since Wrestle Kingdom 7, 6 going on 7. I've been into it. And I saw the tape trading days. Yes, kids, back in our day when we didn't stream stuff, we traded tapes. Having the weirdo dude at the video store and go, oh, you got to see this Terry Funk, Cactus Jack match. And, oh, you got to see this. So I had my fair share of like a couple things here and there, but never fully engulfed in like a single company and watching them go show by show, kind of in the same vein of like a WWF or WCW. As you grew up with it and you were indoctrinated, you know all the storylines, which, I mean, seemingly now it seems like, dude, there's people show me something that happened a year ago and I'm like, whoa, what? That match took place? I don't even remember that. Remember back in the day, you know, oh, dude, Triple H, Stone Cold, they fought at this show. This was a stipulation. It was in this city. I remember or what shirt was like. Now it's like you have no idea. My memory escapes me. Maybe it's age. Who knows? So yeah, we got the King of Pro Wrestling 4-way match. Winner gets the trophy, and you therefore defend that trophy at subsequent shows through the rest of the calendar year. And for each match that you defend the King of Pro Wrestling trophy, there will be a different stipulation thrown in the mix. So it's kind of like a wild card sort of, you know, mid-card title, even though it's a trophy. It's not a belt. So the 4-way was a series of tournament matches that led up to this 4-way match, which a 4-way match, like a fatal 4-way, is very unorthodox in New Japan. Nonetheless, having stipulations in matches in New Japan. Notice you don't see too many like ladder matches or tables or, you know, steel cage. You don't really see a lot of those gimmicky matches in Japanese wrestling, at least in New Japan, right? DDT we've alluded to. There's, you know, All Japan. There's other companies beyond just Big Japan. There's been several Japanese companies beyond New Japan. So, but as far as New Japan's concerned, yes, this is stepping out of the comfort zone and putting on a show for something that may make the traditional purists very uncomfortable because it's change. We know how awesome and flexible people are with change. Or there's more progressive fans that are seeing this and going, yo, like, I'm into it. Let's go. So this match saw El Desperado, Sonata, Toru Yano, and Okada, Kazuchika Okada, Rainmaker, like the GOAT in wrestling, period, not just in New Japan. Dude, immediately my brain was like, dude, how is Okada not going to win this? He did the press conference and introduced it. He's in the finals. But then my brain's like, nah, that's kind of too easy. And I don't think they're going to subject him. And I hate to use a negative connotation, but I don't think they're going to, I don't think that they were going to relegate him to this, you know, gimmick trophy title thing, you know, like King of Pro Wrestling. But I didn't know. And so the match went on. Dude, the entrances in the baseball dugout, you can't miss. They're always great. Toru Yano, dude, he's flinching from like the fog effect shooting, and he's just, dude is a character. He's hilarious. It may be old to some people. It never gets old to me. I think he's hilarious. I've met him too, and he's even goofier in person. So I love Toru Yano. I think he's awesome. So Okada comes out, dude. Okada's robe was nuts. That thing was a thing of art. So dude was dressed to impress for the King of Pro Wrestling trophy. Dude, immediately everybody stomps out Yano at the beginning of the match. Dude. Everybody's just stomping a muddle and Yano. It was hilarious. And, you know, well, I mean, first things first, the rules. So it's every man for himself. First pinfall winner is the winner, and all 4 men are in the ring at the same time. So Okada goes for the submission of El Desperado. Yano gets the low blow on Okada. Okada rolls him up for the win. Yes, Toru Yano pinned Kazuchika Okada for a title, a trophy, we'll say. Toru Yano is the winner and the new and first ever King of Pro Wrestling trophy winner. So now Toru Yano will defend this trophy in all types of gimmick matches. Again, I'm sure the Hype Beast, Pure Rezu, Gatekeeper folks are just ecstatic with this result. So, moving on. Next, we saw the Never Openweight Championship defended from the current champion, Shingo Takagi, who, I'll get to it in a moment, is having the MVP. You're the real MVP. He's having an MVP year as far as New Japan is concerned, taking on the challenger, one of the GOATs, Minoru Suzuki. You already knew on paper with these two, and especially if you watched Takagi go this past year, this was going to be stiff. This was a stiff match. Super stiff. It was cool seeing the Kazuya in the air, even though the crowd can't really sing it because there's rules on, you can't have spitting and stuff, even because there's fans there because, they took care of their business. We'll stick to wrestling here and keep it going. Shingo, dude. So in this, they said Kevin Kelly said that Shingo is gunning for Ishii's record for days active as the active champ, the never openweight champ, which the record is held by Tomohiro Ishii with 103 days. So they omitted the C word issue that we've been dealing with. They omitted those days and just the active days as champion. I believe he was like a couple days short of needing to break that record. So if he were to defend successfully against Suzuki, he would beat Tomohiro Ishii's all-time never open weight record for length of days as champ. The other record that Shingo Takagi holds currently, he has won 34 overall matches in New Japan. Now that's singles and tag matches combined, but 34 wins nonetheless. So Shingo Takagi is the winningest wrestler in New Japan present day of the entire calendar year. That's crazy. I didn't know that. And remember, you're home for facts, rumors, right? Facts. Yeah. So Kevin Kelly, shout out to him. The hermaphrodite is what I called him. What a horrible, even at the time, you see that joke, you're like, that's not going to age well. No, that joke did not age well. Can you even find that on YouTube? They probably deleted that off of YouTube. Anyway, I think of Kevin Kelly and I immediately think of The Rock being super awful and making that joke backstage. Wow. There's a lot of shit that we've done in wrestling that there's no way you're getting away with it in 2020. But I digress. So we get a heated start here. No surprise here. Trading elbows. Again, this match was stiff as fuck. Love the match. Gotch style pile driver for the win. Winner and new never openweight champion Minoru Suzuki. Yes. So Shingo Takagi comes just short of the record for winningest reign as far as days go for the never openweight. Minoru Suzuki is now your new never openweight champion. Next, they had a cleaning, disinfecting break. After that, it was followed by the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with the current champion, the Time Bomb Hiromu Takahashi, taking on the challenger Taiji Ishimori. Going again with Kevin Kelly, I gave him a shout out for all the fun facts, but man, in this match, he made it so obvious, Takahashi's not at 100%, that shoulder, and he was injured, and but you look at it, Ishimori, he's jacked, he's in great shape, and you're like, yep, I know where they're going with this. And it was kind of a non-spoiler, spoiler kind of thing, but if you read a little more into it, it was pretty obvious the story they were trying to tell in that match. Ishimori, as expected, targeted the shoulder, was the cocky aggressor in the whole match. Hiromu basically worked in desperation, just trying to survive. Hits a time bomb, gets a 2 count. Ishimori goes for submission, and he makes time bomb tap. Tap, 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 tap. Time bomb taps in the middle of the ring. Ishimori is victorious. Ishimori is the winner and new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. And you kind of expected this. Hiromu, they've been teasing, he's such a big baby face that he's just going to be bumped to the main, guys. He's going to be one of the top guys in New Japan. So you kind of saw him eclipsing this division, kind of ascending to the ranks of the heavyweights now. So I'm with it. And I mean, honest to goodness, we may very well see Takahashi win the G1. That was kind of the match they were going for, and they swerved us. Who knows? Maybe they'll carry that intrigue of interest, especially with the way that this LIJ Bullet Club feud has been carried out. Who's going to join? Who's going to defect and stuff? I honestly think we're going to see a good guy build for the Time Bomb Hiromu Takahashi taking on the champion to be named at the end of this episode here. I almost spoiled it. I'm not going to spoil it. So, moving on, we saw the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships being defended by Dangerous Tekkers. They defeated the former champions Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi at Dominion in Osaka. So this match was awesome, dude. This was a rematch. I love this rivalry. Dude, the sunset was just timed perfectly. It was like the most beautiful sunset for Tai Chi to come in. Your boy Tai Chi's just in there, like they said on commentary, his voice is so beautiful, like his mouth doesn't even move and his voice just comes out so wonderfully. But yeah, shout out to Tai Chi for coming out and singing the hits for us. Zack Sabre Jr. worked the limbs of the injured Tana. I love how they sold that. Hiroshi Tanahashi, it's been no secret. Aging and getting to that point where injuries are kind of more prone now, and especially with the shoulder, that's been a big injury of his. I love the storytelling of that. Hits a high fly flow, goes for another high fly flow, but Zack Sabre Jr. moved out of the way. We get a tandem finish for the Dangerous Tekkers to retain the tag team championship. So another good match. There was not one stinker on the show. Like, if you don't like Master Watu, maybe that one was, but this was a top to bottom show. Top to bottom. And again, the pacing just moved on. I mean, similar in this podcast here. Everything we're hitting, we're at the main event now, right? So, without further ado, the main event of Summer Struggle, it was the current defending IWGP double champion, Evil IWGP heavyweight and intercontinental champion, taking on the challenger, former double champion, Tetsuya Naito. I love that this match took place in the dark, unlike all the other matches. And it reminded me of like WrestleMania. Remember when Undertaker wrestled Bray Wyatt and it was daytime and you're just like two spooky guys wrestling in the daytime? It was so awkward just because of the West Coast time zone. Yeah, it was so it didn't add to the match. If that match would have happened in the dark, like that would have been way cooler. It's just something about that effect and that appeal of being like a dark, spooky kind of wrestler. But yeah, Evil, I thought that was awesome. He came out with Dick Togo, of course. Dude, right at the start, we get heel tactics to start the match. They tag Naito in the face. Dick Togo's doing his thing, and then Naito eventually tosses him out of the ring like trash. I'll say this. The first part of this match, the first half of this match, was all Evil doing something that I think has really not resonated with people, or it's something that people just don't enjoy. And it kind of exposed him as this one-dimensional wrestler. And I'm not criticizing him as a wrestler. I just think for like the way that his matches flow, it's really relying heavily on the Dick Togo interference, the choking with the string, which he did in this match, and gouging eyes and, doing all kind of low blows, whatever the case may be. It definitely takes away from the match. And usually when you do it like to end a match and then the babyface overcomes it or what have you, that's one thing. But when half the damn match is all these random kind of things, it kind of rubs people the wrong way. I'm not going to sit here and just act like, oh, I'm tired of, Evil's boring act and he needs to improve. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to sit here and criticize someone as if I can go in and do what they do or captivate an audience or what have you. But as far as being a spectator goes, and someone who wants to see because basically the Bushi Road Wrestling, you're used to seeing 4 to 5 star matches, no question about it. Many did not feel that Evil's run has had, and while it's been a very short run, has not had that catapult him to the next stratosphere 5-6 star match like we've seen, like the Okada Omegas and so on and so forth. Okada Naito, you could go on and on. So one half of the match was pretty much the one-dimensional heel turn, use all my heel buddies, Dick Togo and Ghetto. But heel buddies nonetheless, using their antics to control the pace of the match. Then we got Bushi coming to the aid of Naito. Ghetto gouges Bushi's eyes and calls him a cocksucker. I thought that was he cocksucker. I thought that was hilarious. The mic picked it up immediately, and it just made me giggle. Evil goes for a chair shot. Naito blocks it. He's got the chair. Togo comes in, ties up Naito with the choke, with the string. Sonata runs in and just cleans house. We get an LIJ tandem move on Ghetto. So they basically clean house, and LIJ drags Bullet Club out of the ring and carries them out to make it a one-on-one contest. And this is when the crowd went absolutely bonkers. And you could hear them. They're clapping just furiously. Naito hits a flurry of moves. We get an Enziguri and going into Destino. So Naito hits a Destino, 2 count. Tries to go for the Destino again, but Evil hooks the ref. They're dealing with the scramble and the scuffle. Evil hits a lariat, 2 count. More back and forth. Finally, we get a Destino by Tetsuya Naito. 1, 2, 3. And your winner and new IWGP double champion, Intercontinental and heavyweight champion, Tetsuya Naito. We end this awesome show with him hitting the Tranquilo pose with fireworks behind him. It was a beautiful spectacle with that ending. It's definitely refreshing to see that, yeah, they did the Evil experiment, but it was mainly for storyline purposes, and that people don't have to panic about Tetsuya Naito not getting his just due as the double champion and as the main act in New Japan. So for all my LIJ hype beasts out there, all is well in the world now. Your boy is the double champ. I'm a diehard, hardcore Naito fan. I've loved him since the Stardust gimmick. I've seen him live multiple times, especially when he was a Stardust gimmick. I remember being in Toronto at Global Wars, and people in Toronto, fans chanted Tina Turner to him because of his hair. The blonde, sort of like 80s feathered hair. So I remember when people were shitting all over him and being a fan then. So I do think some LIJ folks take the obsession with him and get real carried away. That's another podcast and another can of worms to discuss. But all in all, this was a top-notch show. I mean, I would say like an 8.7 show. Multiple title changes. There weren't like 5-star matches, but I think just top to bottom, just solid wrestling, enjoyable, fun show, a fun spectacle. It was an above average show. It was all in all great show. If you do not have New Japan World, go ahead and subscribe to it. Dude, 9.99 yen works out to be like 8 and some change in US dollars. Dude, easy investment. If you're cheap and you want to share with a friend, do so, I guess. But anyway, you can watch it as long as you're not bootlegging it like an asshole. Just support the product, man. If you're sick and tired of seeing garbage, Drew Gulak getting squashed by Braun Strowman in street clothes, then subscribe to New Japan. And as soon as you go to the New Japan World website, if you look, it's in all Japanese. Don't panic. If you are not if you're not a native speaker in Japanese and you speak English or another language, don't worry. There is an English option there. If you get freaked out, oh my God, I don't know Japanese. I got to get Rosetta Stone to figure out. No. All you have to do, click the English button. You're good. Most of the shows do have English commentary, sometimes Japanese only, but if you're a big New Japan fan, honestly, no disrespect to Kevin Kelly or any of the other announcers, but it's really fun to hear New Japan in Japanese commentary, even like Wrestle Kingdom. You haven't lived until you've watched a Wrestle Kingdom show in all Japanese. It kind of lends to the ambiance of the show. So, but yeah, subscribe to the New Japan World subscription service. I really wish they would bring an app out. For me, I have PS4. If I'm in the Mankind Cave, I can watch it here. I just go to the website on the iPad or whatever device you're using. I know if you have a Chromebook, or Chromecast. It's real easy to watch. If you have a Fire Stick, there's an app. It's real easy to watch. So there's different options that you can use for it. But that's it. That's all I got for you on this episode. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the damn subscribe button. Again, we're talking New Japan. I just went at length about a whole New Japan show. How many shows are you going to get that are going in depth about New Japan right now? It's that call themselves wrestling podcasts. There you go. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. At the letter K, Kayfabe Connection on Twitter. Kayfabe Connection, all one word, on Instagram. But that's it for another episode of Kayfabe Connection. Next time someone tells you wrestling's fake, you know you tell them. So are movies and TV.